Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the latest from IWI, the Carmel rifle in 5.56. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. And please consider supporting the channel on Player, formerly Utreon, where we can do some types of videos that are no longer allowed on YouTube. It may sound like a tasty treat being Carmel, but it's actually a very interesting rifle. It's got a lot of cool features. So you can see from this side, I have the stock folded. This is the factory stock. This gun has not had any changes made to it. It will fire with the stock folded, with one caveat. If you have the dust cover closed and the stock is folded, it'll jam on the first round. It'll fire and then it won't cycle correctly. But if you open the dust cover and then fold the stock, you can fire it all day. A few things that you'll see it's got. It has a M-lock rail. And everything at the front of it all here is all aluminum. It's hard anodized aluminum. And you'll see I have a red dot on here. Don't panic. See that split right there? Right where my fingernail is? The entire rail from this piece forward is on the handguard. The rest of the rail, all the way back, is a one-piece rail attached to the receiver. So you can safely mount scopes, red dots, and other things as far forward as you see this. Or if you had a scope and your rings split, you could do that. Just if you put it on the front piece, now you run into the possibility of it moving or having a problem if you need to pull the handguard off. Tucked away in here, it's going to kind of hard to see, is the gas regulator. And it's got two settings. It can be set up for suppressed or regular. Of course, I have it set for regular right now. I don't have a can on it at the moment. I didn't try this because there's no reason to, but a lot of people have mentioned that if they have it set up for suppressed and they fire without a can, that it won't function correctly. And by the way, you'll see there's an R and an S, so it kind of gives you an idea which way to turn it to set it for the option that you want. I'm not going to try running it that way because there's no reason to. If you put a suppressor on it, set it to suppressed. If you don't have a suppressor, set it to normal, and it will work reliably. And work reliably it did. The entire time we had this rifle at the range, from round one to the last round, it just worked. It is comfortable to shoot. It's a little nose heavy because everything at the back from a receiver and part of the upper is all polymer. The stock is polymer, and the stock is adjustable, and I'll show you that in a minute. But there's a metal insert in here, so it's very similar to the Tavor. Mostly polymer body, but metal inserts on things that are part of the operating mechanism. So the bolt doesn't ride in polymer, it rides in steel. The bolt itself is steel. Most of the other metal pieces are aluminum, except for the functional pieces like the mag release and things like that are steel. The rail is aluminum, it's hard anodized aluminum, and of course the barrel is steel. The barrel is kind of a pencil profile, and it has this really interesting muzzle brake, and it actually worked pretty well. It really wasn't a lot of flip or felt recoil on this, which 5.56 doesn't have a lot to begin with. And while we're looking at talking about the barrel here, the barrel's a 16-inch barrel. It's got a 1-in-7 twist, 6-groove right hand, and it's chrome lined. So it's a really high-quality barrel. Of course, this is a battle rifle. It was designed in Israel to be used by the Israeli military, and they just never adopted it. The project got shelved. IWI US picked it up, made the changes that would be needed to make it both legal and attractive in the US market, and here you see it here. So what I'm looking at right here is made in the United States. A couple of things while I've got it on this side. Number one, you'll see a PMag in it. That PMag window mag is exactly what it came with. It only comes with one, but it's actually in the PMag bag. So they don't hide the fact that this thing not only works with PMags, but it comes with PMags. All of the bolt release, mag release, and safety are all ambidextrous. They're on both sides, really easy to get to. And one of the things they've done, primarily this would help a right-handed shooter, is they shortened the arm. When I flip it over and show you the other side, the arm's a little longer. But on this safety, they shortened the arm. So when it's in the fire mode, which would be the bullet without the cross through it, which would be right here, it won't bite into your hand. Easy to operate, easy to work with. The dust cover is polymer. So you've got the mag release, the bolt catch, and the shell deflector. And this actually works really well. It does get the shell to go out away from the shooter's face. So if you were a left-handed shooter, having it on the other side, they'll probably, you'll see them go in front of you, but they're very unlikely to hit you. Now if I move back here to the stock, there's a release here that allows you to raise and lower this cheek guard, and there's cheek rest, and that's on both sides. Additionally, you can push this button here and adjust the stock to whatever position you want, and it's also numbered, which means if you set it for one particular use and you find that's the spot, let's say with a red dot versus a scope, and you want to have it set to a different setting, you just remember what number it's on and it's easy to repeat. And it's got kind of a rubber butt pad here, so it's kind of cushioned. So it is comfortable to use. To lock the stock, you do have to kind of give it a bit of a swap. And now it's locked. And if I flip the gun over, you'll see that there's a button here that you would use to release it to flip it back open. And because this one would be a stress point, it is metal. This one's polymer because there's really no stress going to be placed on it, but because this is actually a catch, this one is metal as well as the receiving plate underneath it. Here's the safety. You can see that the safety lever is a little bit longer, so it is optimized for a right-hand shooter, and it's easy to catch and easy to flip. And I'm going to turn the rifle around, and I'm going to pop this empty magazine out of it, hitting this extended little arm on the mag release, and then here's the bolt catch on this side. So again, the controls are on both sides. The charging handle does not reciprocate, so when the bolt cycles, the charging handle stays put. And if you have the bolt locked back like I do right now, and you put it in this position, all you have to do is give it a little shove, and it's on the other side. So it's really easy to reverse sides and not have to use any tools whatsoever, or do it even in the field. So if you've got a left-handed and a right-handed shooter, let's say at the range, you can flip that around right there at the range as you go. Now I did happen to put, and you can see it, a Meprolite M21 on it. This is a combat optic, so it has a relatively large reticle. I'm going to see if I can get it on camera. Cameras hate these reticles, but I'll see if I can get it. No, it's not going to show. But basically it's a dot with a circle around it. So it's got a kind of a large circle with a dot in the middle. At 25 yards, it pretty much completely covered the torso of a target. So I wasn't able to pull really tight sniper type groups with the gun, not because the gun's not capable of it or that that's not a good optic. It's just designed to be a combat optic. I will say everything was on paper, everything was fairly close. I was getting groups like that, which is the best I'm going to get freehand with an optic designed for that purpose. But I really suspect the way this thing was working, if I put a scope on it, and which more focuses on pinpoint accuracy, this is capable of it. It's a well-constructed gun with a good barrel. By the way, the barrel's free-floated. So a few of the other specs I'll talk about is, I mentioned it has a 16-inch barrel. It's 26 3/4 inches with the stock folded, so the way I originally showed it. It's 33 3/4 inches with the stock extended, so like you see here, but in the collapsed position, the all the way down position. And it's 37 1/4 inches with the stock fully extended. So this is not an SBR. This is a regular rifle. It has all the characteristics to be classified as a rifle. No stamps or anything needed to get it. And if you fold the stock, it's still legal to operate because it still has that minimum length and it has the 16-inch barrel. So it's very flexible without ever turning into something that it becomes complicated to own. It is semi-automatic. So, and the fire control group on this is custom to this rifle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, of course it is unloaded, but I'm going to show you the trigger because it has a very nice two-stage trigger. So we'll zoom in on that trigger. So there's a little bit of take up. It's a hair scratchy, but trust me, I didn't notice this at the range. I noticed it here sitting at a table. Oh, it would work much better if I set it to fire. So we'll try it again. There's the take up, and then that really short, light, crisp break. There's the reset, very tactile. It does kind of bounce off the reset, but the whole trigger travel overall is so short. By far not a combat trigger. This actually has a very nice trigger, and the trigger component that you touch is steel. And it, by the way, it has a B5 Systems grip, which is a standard AR style grip. A little bit enhanced from a typical GI grip, but you can put any AR-15 compatible grip you want on here. The fire control group, however, is custom to this rifle, so none of the AR-15 trigger changes will work with this. That doesn't mean the aftermarket's not going to come up with something, but at the moment, basically, The trigger and fire control grip that comes with it's the one you use, but you can customize the grips as you see fit. A couple other things it's got, because it's a combat rifle, you would expect it to have sling capability. So it has this hook for a clip style or rope style sling, and then it has a mount here for a QD, and it comes with 2 QDs. If you look at it, then you're thinking, well, it's missing the mount at the front. Well, that's because it comes in this bag and it mounts on the M-lock, and you decide where on the rail it goes. So you can put it anywhere on the rail you want, and it does come with the other swivel to go with it. So it comes set up for a conventional sling or a QD sling, depending on what you see fit. And the front, you get to customize exactly where it mounts. Being a free-floated barrel, this is a very solid, strong thing. It doesn't attach to the barrel. So putting a sling mount up here won't affect the aim or the function of the barrel at all, or the accuracy of the rifle. So I'm not going to disassemble this in this video because I don't want this to turn into an hour-long video. I'm just going to show you briefly how it works, just at the high level. You flip the stock open, and this the bolt carrier and everything comes out through here, comes out from the back. And on the other side of it, there's only one pin you push out, and the whole lower part swivels and pops out. This pin actually, it is designed to be toolless. How this pin is a little difficult to push. It may break in over time, so you're going to want to use something to push on this pin, at least until it kind of smooths out a little bit. And by the way, you'll see up here there's another QD mount. So if you want to have your sling on the other side, especially if you're a lefty, you can do that. And of course, with the front one going wherever you want on the M-lock rail, it's yours to do as you see fit. From a function perspective, I enjoyed using this. And it was a pleasure to shoot. It was a little cumbersome to get used to because it is kind of front heavy. So I would say that this thing really needs a forward grip somewhere up here. It would just be much more comfortable and easy to hold it. And being that it's a rifle, not a pistol, there's no reason you can't put a forward grip on it. And there's M-lock cutouts at the bottom, along the side, so it'd be easy to install it. One thing about forward grips, don't go cheap on the forward grip. Always get a good forward grip because you're going to be putting pressure kind of pointing towards the muzzle on a forward grip. You're going to put your hand out like that. A cheap forward grip that breaks could put your hand out someplace you don't want it to be. So buy a good forward grip. But beyond that, any one will work. This rifle has an MSRP of $17.99, so it's a little on the pricey side. So you would expect good quality and good function, and what I observed is good quality and good function. It worked really, really well. A couple of things, being a little bit nose heavy, you just get used to it and how you work it or put a forward grip on it. But I didn't see anything in this rifle that would make me think that it isn't a good rifle at that price point. No, it's not a $500 bottom-of-the-line cheap AR, but it's got a lot of features. And one feature I failed to mention, and you can't see it from the outside, but this is a short stroke piston setup. So there's a piston assembly up here, and it cycles the bolt based on using a piston as opposed to direct impingement like a typical AR, which means all the gases stay up here. None of the gases go down into the chamber area or down into the bolt. So it stays very clean. And I did see that. It stayed exceptionally clean. I'm used to taking an AR out, going through a couple of mags with it, and it's a total mess in here. This was actually one patch, 2 patches, it was clean and done. So that short stroke piston is going to make it run longer, more reliably between cleanings. And one note on this pick rail, it's safe to put the red dot up here because the rail's one piece all the way back, as I mentioned before. But because there's really nothing sticking up, or the charging handle is not curved or anything, you can put the red dot anywhere you want it. I just happen to like them up here. I find it easier to pick them up and use them. But if you like the red dot all the way back here, right in front of your face, or somewhere in the middle, there's no obstruction that's going to prevent you from putting it wherever you want. Or if you want to flip up sights front and rear, and then use a red dot, that's also entirely available. This whole top Picatinny rail is available, usable, and solid from one end to the other. One note I'll make is, unlike the Tavor, which has those kind of built-in flip-up sights that are part of the Picatinny rail, this doesn't. So it comes with no sighting system, it's just a flat top. Depending on the range you're at, a lot of ranges require some sort of sighting system, whether it's flip-up sights or, in this case, a red dot. The range that we use requires some sort of sighting system. So I put this red dot on it. This may not be what I leave on it permanently, but it gave me something to go to the range and not get kicked out for not having some sort of sighting system. Beyond that, I do like this rifle. I'm looking forward to putting a scope on it and trying it more bullseye accuracy and possibly putting a forward grip on it and getting comfortable with it. But beyond that, I like this. I think they've done a good job with it. And by manufacturing in the United States to the U.S. market's desires, it's a rifle I think that will become popular. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, Rumble. We're pretty much everywhere. And thank you.